Hello dear friends from around the world, and welcome to a new class with me, Stéphane Erler, from the Tea Masters blog. And before I start, let me wish you a happy Chinese New Year. It's the New Year, the year of the ox, and I hope you had nice festivities like I did here in Taiwan. It was really great. Lots of good food and very nice entertainment, which I'm going to come now about because I had the opportunity to taste the wellness and the heat of hot springs in Taiwan twice during this Chinese New Year vacation, and I'm going to share a bit my experience of how it goes when you enjoy hot springs and tea at the same time. So welcome to this class, and tell me if the sound is okay, if you see me well, how is the quality of my intervention here in video. I'm here live with a feed so that I can monitor your comments, so you can comment directly live on Facebook. And if you follow me on YouTube later on, this will be on replay, but you can still comment, and I will answer your questions as I get them. So today we are going to talk about tea and hot springs and tea, because Taiwan is a wonderful place to enjoy both of them. There's a great oolong and great green tea and red tea all around the island from north to south, and we can say the same about hot springs. We can also find great hot springs from really the north to the south of the island. So since most of you are very familiar with Taiwan teas, let me instead review the famous hot springs locations in Taiwan, and you will see that really everywhere we can find them. It starts actually already in Taipei. In the north of Taipei, Beito, Shinbeito, there are hot springs that were already used by the Japanese during the Japanese occupation from 1895 to 1945. These hot springs actually are connected to the Yangmingshan Mountains north of Taipei, and this Yangmingshan Mountain actually is like an old extinguished volcano, and these hot springs, you can even find them at the top north of Taiwan in Jinshan, at the end of the Yangmingshan Mountains. And in Jinshan you have a resort called Baiyan, where I took my latest pictures just 2 days ago. Let me just first say that this Yangmingshan Beito Jinshan area is a bit special because of this old volcano. The hot springs there have much more sulfur, so they have a stronger smell, which is especially true in Beito and Yangmingshan. In Jinshan it's a bit less the case, but especially in Yangmingshan, the sulfur, sometimes called the rotten egg, smell can be quite strong. So a lot of minerals on the plus side. Then in a bit south of where I am, near Sanxia, there is Dabangen. So also very close to where I live, and close to where Bilochun is made. In Miaoli, when we go further south now, there is Tai'an, where I went also this at the beginning of the Chinese New Year. They have also very nice resorts, and Dabangen, Tai'an. Now all the other hot springs in Taiwan have much less sulfur or none at all, and the water is very clean, very clear. This is something I like. Oh, I almost forgot Wulai, also south of Taipei. which is also in the mountains, and this is where I often take visitors, especially students from Penn State, where it's really the closest and most convenient place to go to wild hot springs from Taipei, because you just take the MRT to Xindian and then a bus, and you are there in Wulai, and you can enjoy hot springs very easily, even if you don't have any means of transportation other than the public transportation. So if you come to Taiwan, this is really a very nice place to go to, because it's very easy to access, and it also has a very nice food street where you can eat well just after you've had your hot springs. Okay, then after Tai'an, actually in Taichung, there are a couple of hot springs places. Further down in Tainan, there is a place called Guanziling, which also has very nice hot springs. And there they also have hot spring mud. And this mud is something that my wife and daughter like a lot, because then you can do your facial, scrub facial. It's quite fun to put mud on your face and wait that it dries, and then you feel even more clean in depth with this kind of facial mud. And at the very south of Taiwan, we have Soongshi, very close to Kending, and so this I have never tried the hot springs there, because every time I go to the south, it's so hot. You don't really want to take a hot spring. What you really want is to go to the sea and go to the beach. But I'll try one day, because I did drive close to the hotels and the resorts there, and they look quite nice. And there's even one that also kind of looks very old, also probably from the Japanese era. So very interesting place to visit. Oh, so here we have visited the west side of Taiwan. On the east side, there is a famous one also close to Taidong called Zhiben. This one I went to several years ago, also very nice. Oh, and in the mountains close to Lishan, there's also a very nice area, or close to Hualien, there's also another very nice one. Well, I could go on and go on. Even in Ludao, the Green Island, there are hot springs. So really hot springs almost everywhere in Taiwan. And just like there are tea almost everywhere also. So let's see how we can mix hot tea and springs. Well, first thing, it sounds a bit counterintuitive that you want to drink something hot while taking a hot bath. So won't you feel too hot while doing this? Wouldn't it be better to drink something cold and refreshing? Actually, from a Chinese medicine point of view, definitely they would say no. The body feels better when it drinks something at its body temperature. So drinking something too cold would upset a bit the balance, and therefore would actually not feel so comfortable when you're experiencing hot springs. Maybe better to take a cold shower, and this is actually a normal thing to do in hot springs. There are cold baths and hot baths, so you alternate. When you feel too hot, you go to a cold one, and then to a hot one. This is actually the way to play with the heat and with the cold. But no, actually, the best way to drink is at body temperature. That is the most comfortable. But still, it's good to pay attention to which kind of tea we drink. Now, this is an experience I've made with the Penn State students from the Tea Institute several years ago. We tried a broad range of teas during the hot springs, and we found really that the way we react to the tea is very different depending on the tea while we are in the hot springs. When you are fully relaxed after a hot bath in the hot springs, your body is really completely attuned to its environment, and we felt the impact of tea was very strong. You can feel it not just on your tongue and on your palate, but you feel it with every pore. It's like the tea comes to steam out of your body after you drink it. So the tea you had really was felt through the entire body. So with highly oxidized teas like Oriental Beauty or even fully oxidized red teas, the feeling was really of excessive warmth. It was adding warmth to warmth. This felt kind of a little bit too much. Did not bring soothness, just was making us even warmer than we wished to. Then with pu'er, the advantage of a sheng pu'er is that it's actually quite stable if you bring a thermos to the hot springs. So this is an advantage of sheng pu'er. So if you don't have a facility where you can brew tea in the hot springs, the sheng pu'er will bring some kind of natural energy and refreshment, but it won't be so refreshing as maybe green tea or an oolong. So here is what we really preferred. Actually, the high mountain oolong, because of its low oxidation and its inherent freshness, was really what felt the most refreshing and soothing and in harmony with the experience. Now, in many places in Taiwan, luckily, there is the impact of the tea culture, because so many people in Taiwan drink tea. So in many good hot springs, there are water dispensers where you can get boiling water. So this is really great, because then you can bring your own simple equipment so that you can brew your own oolong while taking the hot springs. Now we have to how you say, you don't necessarily want to bring a small teapot to make a gongfu cha during your hot spring experience. It's maybe not, you don't have so much time. This is not the focus of the experience. The focus of the experience still is to lay down and relax in the hot springs. You don't want to spend too much time brewing your tea. You want a method that is a bit more convenient and a bit fast, so that you spend more time in the hot bath and not too much time handling the cups, handling the teaware. So this will also depend on the equipment that you find in the place where you go to. Now, this vacation, the places actually, they had hot water dispenser, but it was at the service desk, so you had to ask the service person to fill in your bottle with boiling water. So in this kind of setup, it's really not convenient to bring a small teapot, and you don't want to come every 5 minutes to ask them to fill your teapot. So it's more convenient to use a thermos in this case. So let me just give you some idea how you would use a thermos in that setup. Of course, you make sure that the thermos is clean before you leave, and you just fill one layer with leaves of high mountain oolong, and you ask them to fill the thermos to almost to the top. Then, of course, we close, we wait, and the trick is for high mountain oolong, it's not so good when it overbrews. High mountain oolong is still a bit more fragile in terms of tea, so the trick would be to bring with you either a larger teapot or another thermos, or to right away fill the cups that with tea, so that you can empty your thermos once the tea is ready. You don't want your tea to overbrew excessively. That's why if you really don't have enough cups or a big enough teapot or another thermos to transfer it, it's really best not to use too many leaves in order that even if you overbrew it a little bit, it won't be too strong. Okay, but since I'm at home, I'm not going to use a thermos. I'm going to drink tea like I always do during my tea classes. So, my water is still hot enough to preheat my teapot. And now I'm going to bring it to a boil again. And the tea I'm going to brew is the Soongshi Spring High Mountain Oolong from 2020. This one is actually day 1. And this is the tea I had 2 days ago in Bayen near Jinshan. A very nice resort, and we were lucky. We were really alone in this large resort that day, because normal day had already normal. The vacation actually is already over. Hopla. I realize I have a leaf stuck in my teapot. I've cleaned it, but there is one stuck inside. Well, let's see if it comes out or not. No, won't come out. It's really in the middle, but I can still get water out. I will clean it later, but what would you do? You could disappear in the kitchen now to clean it. but I will simply ignore it, and just I will start to empty the teapot a bit earlier, because I know that it will take a little bit longer because of this leaf that is obstructing now the spout, because I don't want now to blow in the spout to make it out, to put it out. Well, we'll see. Okay. So as I said, I'm going to start early. Now the reason I like spring high mountain oolong in particular is the spring version of high mountain oolong is more intense in these very fresh aromas. It has much more freshness that comes with the brew, with the aromas. The winter ones have more sweetness and long aftertaste, which is really fine in itself. It's also very enjoyable. But in the hot springs, really, this is something easy to remember. Spring is, I feel, more suitable because it emphasizes more the refreshing feeling, and this is a great thing with high mountain oolongs. They are able to capture in the aromas the freshness of the high mountains, and this freshness, I think, is more there in the early spring season than in the winter season, which actually is more an autumn season, because in real winter it's nothing is growing in the mountains, except for Dongpian. But voila, the tea is ready. It has a very nice green, very transparent color. A nice mix of refreshing and sweet smells. A little bit of veggie, but also very floral. And this very high note, very like a violin that is playing a very high note. And then you feel relaxed. And this then, and you feel it in the inside. The nice thing when you take a hot springs, like when you go to a spa or a sauna, so this is not something limited to an experience you have in Taiwan. This is also something you can experience at your local gym when you go to the sauna. First, you have the heat that comes from the outside, from the hot water or from the sauna. And then when you drink your high mountain oolong, it is a similar clean, pure, hot feeling that is that you experience from the inside, and that also relaxes you now from the inside. Perfect, perfect. So it's like when we preheat the teapot first from the outside to avoid the thermal shock, because the material will expand. So if it expands on the outside, it has space to expand, but if it expands from the inside, it will crack. So here, with the hot spring, you first expand on the outside because the heat comes from the outside, and now you get the heat from the inside. So then once your outside is expanded, you can also expand from the inside, and this makes you feel totally relaxed. And the freshness makes it that you are able to bear the heat much easier, yeah. And the pure natural aromas of the tea, which is connecting to the high mountains, is also connecting you to the environment, because you are there in the hot springs and you are just facing a nice green mountain in front of you, because in Taiwan the trees keep their leaves all the time. So it's really also a way to not just relax and clean from the inside, but it's also a way to, through the green color, connect with the nature. So they are on a almost on a spiritual level. Well, spirituality is a personal thing, so this is not the main focus, but definitely you don't even have to believe in anything. Just experience this combination of high mountain oolong and hot springs. It's bliss, simply. Well, I don't think there's so much else to add to this. It's once you are in this state, you just want to be calm, relaxed, silent, and on that day we were alone. It was really great. So I hope you enjoyed this short video after my Chinese New Year vacation. Again, I wish you a happy Chinese New Year. It's officially still going on until next Wednesday or Thursday, which will be the Lantern Festival, and Lantern Festival is kind of the end of the Chinese New Year. So enjoy your next high mountain oolong. Maybe try to make some when you go to a sauna, to a spa, and you will see this will really add to your experience. It will make transform you and make the experience even better. It's not just 1 and 1, but it will be 3, 4, 5. It's not adding, it's multiplying to the experience. Okay, thank you very much. See you next week.